Good evening and welcome to Scotland at 7 here on Broadcasting Scotland. I'm Kenny McBride. The House of Commons has rejected all amendments from the House of Lords to the Brexit Withdrawal Agreement Bill, including the so-called Dubs Amendment to protect the rights of child refugees, an amendment to protect the Sewell Convention, and one designed to grant EU citizens in the UK a physical document proving their settled status. Boris Johnson has stressed that he intends the bill to pass as is and will not tolerate any further dissent from the upper house. Given the Tories' healthy majority in the Commons and the fact that getting Brexit done was a core part of their election manifesto, the power of the Lords to alter the legislation is now extremely limited, and it is possible the bill could become law as early as tomorrow. Advocates for refugees have criticised the callousness of rejecting the Dubs Amendment, while the Residential Landlords Association has said that a physical document representing settled status would be vital to avoid their members becoming de facto immigration officials and perhaps unwittingly discriminating against people with a perfect right to be in this country. In Parliament, Brexit Secretary Stephen Barclay claimed that people could print out the email received from the Home Office confirming their status, but was quickly slapped down by Dr Philippa Whitford MP, who pointed out that the email clearly states that it cannot be used as proof of status. Stuart MacDonald MP, SNP spokesperson on immigration, commented on the Dubs Amendment defeat, saying, "The Tories have stooped to a shameful new low with their move to reject and overturn the Dubs Amendment. Rather than stepping up and playing its role in addressing the refugee crisis, the toxic Tory government has instead lurched to the extremes and closed the door on some of the most vulnerable children in the world. This is a Tory government that is callous to its very core." Meanwhile at Holyrood, Michael Russell MSP, the Scottish Government Minister with responsibility for Brexit, answered a question from Linda Fabiani MSP to confirm that while the Northern Ireland Executive will be invited to join any UK delegation discussing issues relating to the province with the EU, the Scottish Government has not been extended the same courtesy. Fabiani commented, "The Tories have ignored Scotland over Brexit since day one, and this snub shows that they have no intention of changing tack. Boris Johnson is already ripping up the devolution settlement and ignoring the expressed will of the three devolved nations on this bill. To refuse to allow the Scottish Government to have a seat at the talks on our future relationship, despite making such a concession to Northern Ireland, is a disgrace. It's time for Scotland to make its own decisions." And in Strasbourg, Scotland remains underrepresented in the European Parliament following Alan Smith's election to Westminster last month. He should have been quickly replaced by the next candidate on the SNP's list, Heather Anderson, but Michael Gove and the Tory government have stalled the confirmation they need to give in order for Anderson to take her seat. Margaret Ferrier MP gave a furious challenge on the matter to Gove at Westminster Day today, accusing the Tories of a democratic travesty. The SNP today also welcomed a climb down by Boris Johnson on the minimum salary requirements for new immigrants to the UK, but warned that the package of other immigration control measures and a failure to recognise Scotland's unique needs meant the change was little more than a distraction. Stuart MacDonald MP commented, "This climb down by the Tories, while welcome, is little more than a distraction. Boris Johnson's one-size-fits-no-one approach to immigration not only poses a very real threat to Scotland's businesses and economy by ending freedom of movement, but puts the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of EU citizens in jeopardy. The UK government's isolationist immigration system fails to address Scotland's economic, demographic and social needs. It's time immigration powers were devolved to Holyrood so Scotland can have a tailored migration system suited to its needs." UN experts are demanding an immediate investigation by the US and others into evidence indicating Jeff Bezos, the billionaire owner of the Washington Post, was hacked with spyware deployed in a WhatsApp message sent from the account of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The special rapporteurs Agne Calamard and David Kay said in a joint statement they were gravely concerned by information they had reviewed about the possible involvement of the Crown Prince in surveillance of Mr. Bezos in an effort to influence, if not silence, the Washington Post's reporting on Saudi Arabia. The statement comes after a report on Tuesday that Bezos, who is chief executive of Amazon, owner of the Washington Post, and the world's richest man, appeared to have had his mobile phone hacked in 2018 after receiving a WhatsApp message apparently sent from the personal account of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. The encrypted message from the number used by Prince Mohammed is believed to have included a malicious file that infiltrated the phone, according to sources. Kayamard, who is UN Special Rapporteur on Summary Executions and Extrajudicial Killings, and Kay, the UN Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Expression, said they recently became aware of a forensic analysis of Bezos' iPhone that assessed with medium to high confidence that his phone was infiltrated on the 1st of May 2018 via an MP4 video file sent from a WhatsApp account utilised personally by the Prince. The information we have received suggests the possible involvement of the Crown Prince in surveillance of Mr. Bezos in an effort to influence, if not silence, the Washington Post's reporting on Saudi Arabia. The allegations reinforce other reporting pointing to a pattern of targeted surveillance of perceived opponents and those of broader strategic importance to the Saudi authorities, including nationals and non-nationals, the rapporteurs said. These allegations are relevant as well to ongoing evaluation of claims about the Crown Prince's involvement in the 2018 murder of Saudi and Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. In Washington, opening arguments in the impeachment trial of US President Donald Trump begin today, following a marathon 13-hour debate yesterday on the rules of the trial. In that debate, which lasted into the early hours of this morning, Senate Republicans rejected demands by Democrats to allow key White House personnel and former National Security Advisor John Bolton to testify. Speaking in Davos, Switzerland yesterday, Trump argued that allowing Bolton to testify might compromise national security if Bolton were to reveal Trump's unfavorable opinions of other world leaders. He has previously claimed that he would prefer a longer trial with top officials able to testify, but notably instructed those same officials not to cooperate with the House investigation, even when served with subpoenas. It is also clear that Senate Republicans are taking their lead on trial strategy from the White House, thus compromising their oaths to be fair and impartial throughout the process. The trial concerns Trump's alleged attempt to blackmail Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky into investigating claims of corruption involving Trump's Democratic rival Joe Biden and his son Hunter by withholding promised military aid. The Bidens deny any wrongdoing, and Democrats have resisted the idea of either Biden testifying, although rumours now suggest that they may be willing to agree to such testimony if they are able to cross-examine John Bolton in return. The trial will take place for 6 days each week and is expected to run until at least the end of this month. Lisa Nandy, who said the UK should follow Spain's example in Catalonia in dealing with the Scottish independence campaign, has confirmed her place on the ballot for Labour leader after securing the endorsement of affiliated society Chinese for Labour. Nandy joins Keir Starmer on the ballot, with Momentum candidate Rebecca Long-Bailey also expected to reach the ballot threshold soon. Emily Thornberry has yet to receive any union or affiliate support, and so may struggle to make it to the final phase of the contest. Meanwhile, Jess Phillips, who dropped out of the leadership race yesterday, has thrown her weight behind Scotland's only Labour MP, Ian Murray, in the deputy leadership contest. And in other Labour news, the Labour Party is facing libel action by BBC journalist John Ware, following a Panorama special last year presented by the journalist, accusing Labour of failing to address anti-Semitism in the party seriously. Labour then issued a statement claiming the Panorama programme and the BBC have engaged in deliberate and malicious representations designed to mislead the public. Ware regards this accusation as libelous. In Scotland, projects for disadvantaged young people will share £19 million seized from criminals. New organisations to benefit from the latest round of Cashback for Communities funding include Eton Court Arts Project in Inverness and the Mayfield and East Houses Youth 2000 project. They will work closely with young people from areas of deprivation to provide them with positive opportunities to raise their attainment and aspirations. The Cashback for Communities scheme reinvests criminal assets into community projects which support young people into positive destinations, diverting some away from potentially criminal or antisocial behaviour. A total of 24 organisations have been awarded funding, taking the total investment in the unique programme to more than £110 million since it began in 2008. Justice Secretary Humza Yousaf said, "Cashback is a unique and potentially life-transforming programme that helps expand young people's horizons and supports them to realise their ambitions and reach their full potential. This phase of Cashback has a particular focus on projects that support young people and communities most affected by crime. We are working hard to tackle the root cause of crime and disorder through early intervention and to ensure those affected have the support in place to steer them away from criminal or antisocial behaviour. Since the programme began in 2008, we have delivered over 2.5 million activities and opportunities for young people across Scotland, and I am delighted that many further young people will be supported and inspired over the next 3 years." Director of Barnardo's Scotland, Martin Crew, said, "Barnardo's Scotland is delighted to be continuing to work as delivery partners on the next stage of the Cashback for Communities programme. As existing partners, we know from first-hand experience the transformational impact the programme has had on young people. We are looking forward to the next exciting stage of the programme, working with more young people most affected by crime and antisocial behaviour." And finally, Scotland is leading the way in creating an economy in which well-being is as fundamental as gross domestic product when measuring success, First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has said. Addressing the Wellbeing Economy Alliance conference, the First Minister said Scotland will take centre stage this year, hosting a number of events designed to promote and drive forward the creation of a truly global wellbeing economy, including hosting an international business-led summit on the benefits of a wellbeing economy to the private sector and how businesses can help to create a wellbeing economy, hosting a wellbeing economy governments meeting as part of the Fringe at COP26, focused on how to achieve an economy that is environmentally sustainable while ensuring social well-being, following up last year's Wellbeing Economy Government's policy labs with further meetings in Edinburgh focused on just transition, net zero economies and wellbeing budgeting, and continuing to work with the OECD to share our experiences more widely and to expand the core membership of the group, which currently includes Scotland, New Zealand and Iceland. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said, "Scotland is redefining what it means to be a successful nation by focusing on the broader well-being of the population as well as the GDP of the country. The goal and objective of all economic policy should be collective well-being. The broader approach is at the very heart of our economic strategy, which gives equal importance to tackling inequality as to economic competitiveness. It is why we are so committed to fair work and making sure that work is fulfilling and well paid, and why we are acting to ensure a just transition to a carbon zero economy where no one is left behind. Putting well-being at the heart of our approach means we can focus on a wider set of measures which reflect on things like the health and happiness of citizens, as well as economic wealth, to create a world that considers the quality of a person's life to be as precious an asset as financial success." And if you are interested in the Wellbeing Economy Alliance, we had an excellent interview with their Knowledge and Policy Lead, Dr. Catherine Trebek, at the SNP conference. You can find that in our programme archives if you want to go and have a look for that. And finally, we would also just like to offer our condolences to the family and friends of Terry Jones of the Monty Python, who died today at the age of 77. I'm a huge fan of Monty Python and particularly of the films that he directed, including Life of Brian and The Meaning of Life. He was also a prolific author, a historian, a critic, and he was a really wonderful part of a great comedic troupe, and he will be sorely missed. So thank you all for joining us. We will be back again tomorrow at 7, but until then, please, if you're able to, go to broadcastingscotland.scot/register and sign up as a supporter of Broadcasting Scotland. Making TV programmes is an expensive business, even when there is scaled down as tonight's show was. It's always helpful to get any money from our viewers. If you're not able to support us, of course, don't worry. The shows will always be free online, but if you are able to support us in any way, please do. And that goes for people who are willing and able to volunteer their time as well. If we had more people here to act as journalists, act as technicians, as camera operators and sound mixers and all of these other roles, there is so much more that Broadcasting Scotland could do and could be. We want to be a full service station serving Scotland with a full range of programmes, including drama, documentaries, sport, and everything else. So if you are able to support us, please do. It's the only way we can create the independent media that Scotland deserves. So that's broadcastingscotland.scot/register. But in the meantime, thank you very much. As I say, we will be back tomorrow at 7 with Gordon. And until then, I've been Kenny McBride. Have a great night.